Hello, I'm currently in Kaş Marina in Turkey and we've just spent 3 nights on board of my parents' boat sailing. And I've decided to ask my dad 7 things he wished he'd known before he started sailing.
Hi, I'm Guy. There are several things to think about prior to actually boat ownership. Probably the main thing is the expense. When we started some 20 years ago, everything was an awful lot cheaper than it is now. Now, all over the world, marina prices are getting very expensive, and boat maintenance, new boats now are probably double what we paid for this one 9 years ago. And so expense is a major point to look at. Once you actually get your boat, your number one priority is safety. Safety of your crew and safety of yourself and others around you. So really, I mean, the way you've just got to you've got to have a plan. You know, when you get on the boat, the first thing you should be doing is checking your safety equipment, making sure it's all in date, making sure that your life jackets actually fit and they're in date and they work, and treat everything as an accident waiting to happen. Because when things go wrong, especially when you're sailing, and especially when you're sailing in big seas with big winds, things really do go wrong. So safety is your priority. That's what you keep everybody alive with. But the main thing to think about is, you know, if it's bad weather, make sure you've got your life jackets on with the harnesses, and make sure people are clipped on, and make sure that anybody who goes on the deck is going to be clipped on. And if you see anybody doing it wrong, bollock them. Because it's easier to bollock somebody and fall out with them for a couple of hours than to try and recover them when they've gone over the back, because that's not easy, I can tell you, as somebody who's been over the back. But there you go. One thing that I have found really an advantage in my career of running my own boat is the fact that I am fairly mechanically minded. I was brought up on a farm situation, so there isn't much that we haven't fixed. On the boat, there are often things to do, engines to service, impellers on the water side to sort out. Things break, and they can break when you're at sea. And if you have no idea whatsoever, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, if not very difficult. But that's what I think. You know, obviously everybody gains experience as they go.
What about seasickness?
Yeah, seasickness. Well, some people do suffer from seasickness. I mean, luckily we don't. Although what you tend to find with it is when people first go to sea, they may get seasick, but then most people get used to it, and they call it sea legs. You get your sea legs and you're fine. I do know some sailors that go sailing and they're sick every time they go out, and I think I wouldn't want to do it, but there you go. It's their passion.
Why do you like sailing?
I like the freedom of sailing, especially where we are at the moment. We're in Turkey at the moment, although we do go to the Greek islands. The freedom is you're not sat in a hotel with loads of people shouting, screaming and making a load of noise. And some of the bays, as no doubt you'll see, are absolutely spectacular, beautiful places, lovely clean blue water, and yeah, I think that's what I like about sailing.
So one of the things that we've seen quite a lot this holiday is that the weather forecast has changed dramatically, quite quickly. What would you say about reading the weather forecast before you start sailing? Yeah,
we have several weather forecast apps, and they sometimes get it bang on. The majority of the times they're very inaccurate. For example, when we came down here yesterday, there was meant to be wind coming from behind, and we had the wind, as we would call it, on the nose all the way. I mean, that's sailing. The wind never blows in the right direction. But the weather forecasts, they're just a model, and so many times they get it wrong. I mean, usually we've seen weather forecasts saying we'll have 25 knots overnight, and we've had 40, 45 knots overnight. So you've got to be prepared for everything, prepared for all eventualities, and ideally gain experience before you go and do any big long sails. Sailing qualifications are very important. Everybody really, without exception, should go and do some sailing qualifications. The minimum you should do is a day skipper which will give you an ICC, which is an International Certificate of Competence, which is what all the port police want to see throughout the Med. Yeah, so those points are what I think are important about sailing. But from on a different perspective, we've sailed now for 20 years on our own boats, and we've brought two boats from France down to Turkey. We've been to some fantastic places that we would have never been to without a boat, and we've had some fantastic fun. We've made some absolutely great friends, and even when a friend leaves and sails somewhere else, you often bump into them again, you know. So from that point of view, sailing is just, it's the best. And if you guys do buy a boat, just research your marinas and research where you're going to put them. I mean, the Med's fairly easy. It's easy in the fact that there's no tides particularly to think about. So that's one less thing you've got to think about. But obviously, look at the costs. Make sure you can afford it, because there will be things that go wrong with a boat. But yeah, if you buy your boat, good luck, and hopefully I'll see you out there someday.